Hello, this is Arshna with Divine Soul Resonance, welcoming you all to my channel. If you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you all for all my existing subscribers, for all your love, subscribes, and support. Today, I'm bringing forth a message and a short video on repeating numbers of 555. You know, we get messages from a spirit in many different ways, and I've talked about the number sequences 4s, I've talked about the 3s. So what does 5s bring? Just like everybody else, I went on Google and I started to search for, when I started to see these signs, what does it really mean? That was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. And I'll tell you, what I read online and what I picked up from many different people and readers, and in understanding what this number that was being thrown at me constantly as to what it meant, that to now, that journey, what I read to what I've experienced, yes, the word is there, but that experience in itself, it was a whole different realm altogether. So the purpose of this video today is really, I want to share my experience with what I feel is what 555 represents, right? What it brought in my life over the 2 years. Right off the bat, it's not like you'll see the 1s, then you'll see the 2s, then you'll see the 3s. So like there's a progression. So based on what we're experiencing in our life and what needs adjustments, we get signs in the form of what we call, quote unquote, as synchronicities, right? That's what, like, wow, I was just thinking about you and you called, or this is what I was really wanting, and boom, right in front of me. I see that. So those are not really coincidences, which seem like coincidences. These are, because everything happens in the now. Everything happens in the now. So there is a whole realm of the big now. Since everything that we are manifesting, we're thinking, we're experiencing in the now, a higher self sends us guidance. A higher self, a divine spark, a connection to the Creator, to all of creation. We get those messages in forms of intuitions, in forms of feelings. One of the ways a higher self communicates with us is through number patterns and number sequencing, because they just kind of catch your attention. So my experience with the 555, when I started to see them about 2 years ago, first thing to know is it's about change. Change, change, change. So change would be 5. Change is 2 5s. Change is 3 5s. What I'm trying to highlight is that when a number is repeating itself, meaning that particular vibration or the attention that the higher self is wanting you to get is amplified, right? So when it's amplified, you're going to feel the effects on a larger scale. So 555 is going to have a huge effect in your life. That's one of the things I had read, and I can pen it down. Yes, the biggest change that has taken place in my life has been in the last 2 years. Because when I had read about the 555s, that it's going to be an energy of change, it's an energy that brings in conflict, but know that the guides are always with you. Know that the angels are with you, right? So what is this energy of change that we're talking about? So change, I'm going to begin with, what I want to explain is in 3 or 4 different ways. One is in tarot. I'm a tarot reader. So number 5 deals with the energy of conflict. Keep that in mind, the energy of conflict and change together. Now, when we are going through a conflicting period, something that you believe in, but now that foundation is being rattled, and now you are, quote unquote, forced to see and get another perspective. Now, when you get another perspective on that same viewpoint that you held, there is a destabilization effect. There's a destabilization. Perhaps it's cultural programming. Perhaps it's societal programming. Perhaps it's something that you were conditioned when you were way, way young, right? And you held those and kept those as your permanent belief systems, right? As your own. But now, life circumstance and your own life experience is bringing you to places, points, and things that are no longer in resonance, in that same frequency as what you originally thought that you believed in. Am I making sense here? Like, this is what you thought, but this is what the life events are showing. So now there's a mismatch. There's a mismatch. So it creates an energy of conflict. Like, what I believe, is that true? What others are saying, is that really true? What society's saying, is that really true? Because it's not holding true for me. So it creates that chaos. So that chaos is good. Chaos is amazing because it's through chaos. It's through that chaotic energy. It's through that conflicting things that are pulling you apart that you'd be able to find the balance. You're going to be able to find what your truth is. And that's what took place in the 2 years for me when I saw the 555s. First 6-7 months, I read about it. Oh, energy of change coming. It's going to be destabilizing. Well, it didn't say destabilizing. That's what I'm adding on. It's going to create like some shifts, major shifts. Expect major shifts in all areas of your life. You know, emotional, mental, financial, spiritual, all of it. That's a lot. When that's thrown at you, you wonder like, whoa, what's coming at me? And yes, it will take you in all directions based on what your soul path is, based on what you are integrating at this point in time. I'll integrate everything together. I want to bring in a few different concepts. One, I talked about the conflict and the energy of change, right? Second is fifth. I work with the chakras. I'm an energy healer. I work with the chakras. Fifth chakra. I was just feeling it, like what happened in the 2 years. Fifth chakra is right here, a throat chakra. It's called the Vishuddha chakra. The Vishuddha chakra, the center for communication, the center for higher expression, center for our authentic, truthful expression. Vishuddhi it's a Sanskrit word meaning purification. Center for purification. I wish I had put all of this together and understood this 2 years ago when I saw that. So truly, my level of understanding, my level of spiritual growth, my level of emotional growth has taken I wouldn't even call it like a few steps, I call it a quantum leap. It was definitely a quantum leap time for me when I started to see 555s. So, Vishuddha chakra, the chakra for communication, everything that you hold that is, so it needs to purify all the toxins. It needs to purify and remove all the toxicity, the negative thinking patterns that are not allowing you to express who you are at the core, at the soul level. So it is a halfway point on a tree of life. 5 is exactly at the halfway point. So when we say you're at the halfway point, we say you've integrated some information. These are the informations you have integrated so far because you've reached the 5, you've reached the halfway point, you've learned some things. Now, where do you want to go? So this is the moment, these are the moments in time and in life that's bringing forth an opportunity for massive growth. For massive growth in understanding and massive growth in mastering our energy. Right? Purifying all those negative thought patterns and negative belief systems. Where do you hold your power? Do you give your power away? Do you listen to other people when they are saying, oh, you're not good enough for this, or you can never manifest this? Or do you have that faith and courage within you? So, test of your willpower. So, I talk about that there is your solar plexus is going to be tested. So, your solar plexus is going to be tested because solar plexus deals with your willpower. Now, if I am to give a new terminology, and I will give a new terminology. After all, this is the age of the Aquarius, and I am an Aquarius. To the number 555, I call it the times of initiation. That's what I would call it in my journaling, it was a time, we always have times for initiation, but the 555 brings in the test of initiation, one after another after another. It depends on your soul lesson. And I was taken to the edge. Yeah, I thought I'm going to fall off, but this is it. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this emotions, and what is happening in my life, whether it's loss of loved ones, whether it is the loss of how you're thinking and believing in what you believed, who your friends were, where you worked. So all those beliefs and anger, resentment and hurt and the emotions that chain us to the past. All, and I say all, will come up to be addressed, so that we can take corrective action, so they can be purified, so they can be pushed away and let go of once and for all, so you can embrace the new. The fives brings in that opportunity. So I call that time of conflict, that time of intense emotions, as a time for take charge, as a time where you create your reality. How you create your reality. Life is bringing you that gift. So take the fives, not as a challenge. Yes, it's a challenge. It will be a challenging period. That is for sure. To what degree is for each soul. I can't decide that for you, and there can be no generic blanket statement like, oh, this is what you will experience. Maybe you'll experience something else. Maybe there will be. So pretty much, let me put it this way. What the Spirit is doing is, what your higher self has planned for you, as your blueprint, as what you've come here and incarnated on earth to do, is to carry out that aspect. If you've held on to some things, whether it's how you create money, how you've been in relationships, okay, and what your thinking pattern has been, right? Your mind, body, soul, right? And your emotions and your material plane. So we're looking at all aspects. How you've been doing that. Is it in alignment with who you are? Or have you? Because I for sure had. Have you pushed the Spirit down and followed what everybody else wants you to believe? Or are you gonna be that lone warrior, creating your own path? Because that's what you're meant to do with the fives, creating your own path fearlessly. Of course, all these destabilization is going to create a lot of fear. So the angels are guiding you and saying that they're there with you. So I want you to know one thing. During this time, when I felt like, oh my God, I would never be able to get out of this darkness. And imagine this is after doing so much spiritual work, having so much learning, and being an energy healer for this long. Yet the darkness felt. So the journey from here to here is very difficult. Journey from here, know it here, bringing it down here is a opening of the petals of the Sahasrara chakra, opening of the petals of the divine energy, so you can get more of that light. So that fives, I wish I knew now, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be the person I am now had I not encountered all those obstacles, had I not encountered those challenges, had I not been taken to that edge of emotion, to the edge of that negative thinking and losing faith and not having, so all of that will be, so whatever are your weak points or whatever is your weakest link, yeah, that's what's coming to me. That's what's coming through. Whatever is the weakest link is going to be activated. Let's put it this way. Activation is going to be of the weakest links. So my link, for me, the link was, can you do it? Are you going to go forward, Archana, in the face of all these obstacles? And I would want to quit. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with this. I can't do this. I'm not meant to do this. Guides will come in. I want you to know that. Didn't even think where they come from. People coming in, pushing me. You're going to do this. You taught us to do this. You're going to listen to your own words and you're going to follow through. So that's what we mean by support is going to be there for you. when you don't want to listen in to your own higher self because you're going through such a resistance, you're going through that change, you're resisting because I don't want to let go of that past. I don't want to let go of that. How do you want me to have hope when there's nothing to show for? Right? That's a way of thinking, because I wanted to control my outcome. So depending upon where your weakest links are, that are weak link for creating to be the authentic who you are, right? It's stopping you. Your weak link is stopping you from being who you are, which is you are stopping yourself. No one else is doing that. So your thinking pattern, your emotions. So it gives a 5s is a time for mastery of emotions. Mastery of the 5 senses. So see, our senses are 5 senses. Controlling those 5 senses, right? Controlling that. And when I'm saying the word controlling, I don't mean controlling an outcome. I mean mastering. So let's rephrase that and we call it mastery. Self-mastery. 5s is a time that gives you a vantage point on how you're going to master what you've created. So it gives you the chance to move up on that ladder of creation. So on that path of creation, you're at that halfway point. You're at that halfway point. And I know now why the 5s was a big thing. I turned 50 this year, and 2 years ago, I didn't think that these are the things and the feelings, or this is what I will evolve into, or this is the person that I would become, and integrate all of that. I would have never imagined in a billion years that this is who I would become. Okay, so having said that, 5s holds that vibration. 5 in tarot, major arcana is the Hierophant. Okay, spiritual learning. So that's why I wanted to bring forth these few messages from where I feel we can get an understanding of what this change and conflict is going to involve. So your test of spirituality, your test of your own faith is going to come to surface. How much do you believe in yourself? And how much do you truly want to express who you are? As a light worker, as a star seed, as an energy healer, moving in 180 degrees from the corporate world, taking this on, not to do this for others, I was doing this for me. Didn't know that I would be pushed to do this by the Spirit, that this would become my new path. Teaching in the corporate world to shifting into this. It's a completely different realm when I look at it. I was taught a certain way. I have degrees in certain ways of thinking and being. And now I have to look at things from a completely different vantage point. And I come back and I look, wow, that's a lot of integration. How amazing is that? How amazing a journey. So when I'm talking about spirituality, I'm talking about your own faith, whether it's your own religion, whether it is your own belief system in yourself, some sort of a higher learning, all that is going to take on a completely different role and have an impact during the times of the 5s. Okay? During the times of the 5s. That's what I realized. So 5s I talked about. I want to make sure I cover the important parts that I had in my mind that I want to talk about. Was the throat chakra. So I'm learning very strongly after 2 years on every word and every thought and every emotion that I am putting out by the law of attraction, by our universal law. I'm bringing that into the universe. I'm bringing that into my energy field right now. And that's what I'm creating with. Right? So communication through purification of our center. And then 5 is our spiritual understanding. That is a shift. And you're deeper, and the more faith and the more faith and the more trust you have in the divine and whatever is unfolding, the more you surrender, the easier the integration is, the easier it is to overcome the challenge. And my challenge, that was my handicap, was trust and faith. Trust and faith. So I was definitely tested on trust and faith. I was definitely tested on that, on a very, very high level for me at this point. So that is one. Surrendering to the process is going to help ease and integrate the 5s. Integrating the 5s would help when we surrender to that process. We understand and we allow that destabilization, that chaos is good. Because some of the skill sets that come out, you wouldn't even know that you had those skills. I didn't even know I was capable of doing all of this had all of this not occurred in the past 2 years. I'm making light because it was heavy times. And what a beautiful feeling it is to be that shining diamond, right? Like that diamond, right? You're being chiseled. So 5 is bringing in that place on how do you want to chisel. You know, your light, your core light is shining out. When your core light is shining out, how is the world going to see this? You have to be chiseled perfectly in the hands of the Creator. You have to align your will from the solar plexus, cleansing out all those old beliefs, systems, lower vibrations. Now you're moving up into the heart, opening of the heart. If there's been blockages in the heart chakra of grief, sadness, all of that had come up for me. So I'm just telling you, all of that had come up for me. So I would descend down and I'm working through the root and destabilization, working through not feeling good, the sacral chakra, completely feeling powerless, getting all that anger. So there was so much of the rising of the Kundalini and going, and it was just burning through a lot of it. I wouldn't want it any other way. It was perfect. All that chaos, all that anguish was so worth it. Because the golden nuggets, you know, it's that when you're training for something, yeah, you're tired and you push yourself, you do all of that. But when you reach that certain aspect, I feel like at the 5s, I've reached at a certain, what's the word I want to use? I should plan my videos. A certain I don't want to say plateau because that means you're done. You're never done. So, but you reach like a certain stage and it gives you like, wow, I think I can camp a little bit up here. I'm going to camp right now and I'm going to look at all of that I have created, and I know now which direction I'm going to move forward in. So it brings in a lot of that when the heart is being cleansed and you're cleansing out, you're being purifying. So you're expressing. I expressed a lot of who I am over the last 2 years. So definite, for sure, throat chakra activations will take place for you, for sure. No matter where you are, whether you see 1, 5s or 5, there's going to be either you're going to feel blocked, like you're not able to express, or you're going to be like, boom, things are going to open out and you just feel like now expressing because it's been held down for too long. So all of that. And as all of that is taking place, your third eye chakra is opening and expanding. And your sense of, like I said, you know, when you're at the bottom of the mountain, your vantage point is some point. So as you're climbing up the mountain and you reach a certain point, your vantage point is different. So think of this as an expanded awareness, an expanded sense of perception increases as. So this is an awareness that's increasing. Your level of awareness is going to increase during the stages of the 555, right? So as your connection with the divine source. So I've you know, kind of wanted to, I did do this video one time before and I realized I never talked about the throat chakra. So I wanted to bring forth all of these messages because these are what I feel that the 5s have brought in my life. So start paying attention to the numbers that are coming forth for you, because each number carries its own frequency and its own vibration, and your soul is speaking to you. So just kind of you want to read online, go read online. Do what makes you feel happy in terms of that. But I want you to start paying attention to what is actually transpiring in your thought process, in your emotions, in your relationships, in all areas of your life. You can actually start, you know, taking notes and keeping track of that. And then you'll be able to see that this is how the Spirit is trying to communicate with you. And the stronger you get with that, the stronger you get in communion with your own spirit, and you're integrating more of your higher self within you, you're embodying your higher self, and you're bringing all of that energy in through that chakra system, right? And that conflicting energy, because you're bringing in more of the light energy within your body, as you're bringing in more light energy within your body, your old ways of being, you're being renewed. So 5s will bring in chaos. 5s will bring in conflict, but they are going to bring in the best gifts that you can ever experience and have. you'll discover gifts about you that you never knew you had. And that will take you on a whole new journey, right? The hero's journey. So I hope this has been a helpful video. I would love to hear comments on if you have been seeing the vibes. Has any of this resonated with you? And how has your journey been? Perhaps you can inspire someone else to feel grounded and be okay in not knowing. Be okay in the chaos. To know that, hey, you're going to get out of it victorious. Totally rocking it. So if you're seeing the fives, you got it. That's my final message for all of you. If you're experiencing the fives, nothing to be fearful of. It's going to be a wonderful journey. And I send you much love and light, and I will speak with you soon. This is Arshna with Divine Soul Resonance. Mwah!